Okay, so now we are ready to make a waterfall inside of Unreal. And it's going to be just sort of like the material, but we're going to need to import our texture that we made in Photoshop and our static mesh. So for now I'm just going to drag my static mesh out into scene. Let's just put it over here for now. And let's get a bit of a view of it. And here we have our texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's just, oops, didn't mean to click that. Let's create ourselves a new material. Waterfall underscore matte. And we are going to open this up and bring in our texture. So because we packed in our texture and layered it up quite nicely, it means we're going to be able to, or hopefully, should be able to get quite a lot out of this. So let's begin our setup, shall we? And just shrink you into place. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm just going to bring in a colour. This is going to be our base waterfall colour. Which is going to be quite grey. Well, maybe a little bit more blue than grey. But we'll tweak this as we're going. And sorry if you can hear that, my cat is deciding to make a lot of noise. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we are going to blend these two together. And let's blend them with an overlay. It's going to blend you, and I'm going to mix this with my red channel, which was my fibers. It should hopefully create a bit of a stream. And if I start real-time previewing this, and give it a second. This is going to be, well, it looks more like a nice guy at the moment, but hopefully that's going to be our final thing. Maybe I should brighten this up a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to brighten this up, and to help sell the effect, we're going to need a panner. A good old classic panner with a Y. What are we saying? Should we go? Let's go 0.2. And because we've got our other channel, let's now combine this. That's going the wrong way, isn't it? That's going the wrong way. But we'll fix that in a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate these. I'm just going to grab them both and hit Ctrl Y. And we are going to blend these again. And I'm going to blend these with a soft light. So I'm going to grab you. And this time we want a green channel. Now I could have just taken the green channel from this, but I want this panel to actually move at a slightly different speed. Let's give it sort of like this multi-layered effect. And let's take you into our base color and stop previewing you. And hopefully now what we've got is we should have got the clouds, which are going to give us more of a sort of like lumpy effect, and then the stream, which should hopefully give us a different effect too. So let's save you and put you on our waterfall and see how it looks. Now already we're sort of getting the effect. We can see the seams, which I might jump back into Photoshop and fix, but we'll worry about that later. The first problem is that they're both going the wrong way. So I'm going to say minus 0.2 and minus 0.3. Alright, so that's sort of like our base, our buttery biscuit base. Let's do a little bit more. I'm going to hold one and just create two values. The first one, which I'm going to set to about 0.8, which is going to be a specular. And it's water, so it shouldn't be too rough, but or maybe it should be too rough, who knows. I don't think water's very rough. So I'm going to drag those inside, and hopefully this should brighten up the effect and pull it out a little bit more. And let's hit save on that. Awesome. Let's see how it looks over here. Cool, so you see how now we've got like a light sort of reflecting on it, and the whole thing looks a bit softer and smoother. For better or worse. We can tweak those. We can tweak those if you want to. And I am going to increase the roughness a little bit. I'm actually going to bring down the specular a touch as well. Just not much, just a touch. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going... Let's get ourselves a normal. So I'm just going to duplicate you, and I'm going to use... I'll just use the same panel on this because it's going to be a normal. And I'm also going to mix this with a much more blue, because normal maps should be blue, and this isn't, so I'm making my own. Let's multiply our blue with... Shall we multiply it with this, or should we just... Yeah, let's just see what effect that has, and let's put you into our normal. And just for further selling, to really bring the whole thing together, I'm going to tessellate it, and this should deform our material a little bit. And let's grab ourselves another multiply by holding M, drag you off our red, and should we try timesing you by 10? Yes, times you by 10. Put you into our world displacement, and let's get a multiplier and try 6. And hit save and see how it looks. Ooh, looking pretty interesting. You know what? Let's see how it looks on a waterfall. I don't like this, but we'll fix it. We're going to keep fixing this as we're going. I think it's because we got that gradient. So let's just take, instead of multiplying it by the whole thing, take a red. And save it. I think because we've got the gradient on the blue has given us the effect, but we're not going to use that blue just yet. Alright, there we go, getting a much better effect on this now. I'm going to increase my multiplying by quite a bit so you can get even better. Alright, that's looking pretty cool. Kind of smoky. Let's see how it looks on here. Looking pretty good too. I mean, I still feel like we need to fix those seams a little bit. But I don't want to have to jump into Photoshop just yet. I might quickly have to. Alright, so it's likely under red, isn't it? The mixing of those. So let's get, oh no, it's cool, hopefully I've got Control Zs. I think that's as many as I've got, but that should be okay. Alright, let's hide you because we don't need you anymore. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rasterize, and we'll rasterize this. Then we'll duplicate. And let's just get you, flip you over here, like that. Delete the top half of you. And blend you together. Let's merge it together first. Alright, that should fix that a little bit. And let's just go back to, was it a red? I think it was the red. Copy, back to red, and paste. I can't see that making too much of an effect, so let's just save that and test. Alright, now back inside here, I'm just going to re-import. I guess it is the other one as well. But that's gotten one, we just sort of need to repeat that then for our green layer. Alright. Green was you. This is really annoying. Flip you. Select, say, you over here. Merge layers. Go back to our channels. I think you were green. Okay. Now these should be symmetrical. And right click, re-import. Oh, we're still getting those lines. Maybe it's from where we're blending together. But you know what? That's sort of fine for now. So I'm just going to save that. And give it a minute. What I'm actually going to do at this point, because I mean this is a bit of experimenting, I'm going to duplicate this because I'm quite happy with how it is, and I'm going to start working on this one. So I'm happy with that how it is at this point, but I want to do a bit more to it, and I don't want to sort of have to redo or lose any sort of like progress that I might have made. Okay, let's move you back over here, and let's continue. So what I'm going to want to do, I think, is a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I'm sort of happy with how this has worked out so far, but I want a gradient. I want to create a mask. So I'm going to go linear gradient. And my linear gradient is just going to be top to bottom, so I'm going to want to flip it. So I'm going to go 1 minus that, and that I'm going to multiply with U, so I can get the colour, which is this sort of really rubbish blue colour. Okay, now what next? What should we do next? Let's get rid of the overlay, because I think the overlay might be a bit of our problem for where we're getting our thing, so let's just lighten it. Let's get a lighten, and we're going to get U, and we're going to get U, and we're going to put U into U. And then we've got that, which is being softlit with this. And let's give that a moment to update itself and check itself out. So what I'm trying to get is a darker bottom, which I think I've kind of achieved. And the darker bottom should hopefully make it look like it's fading out more. So you see how it's getting darker towards the bottom? That's what I was hoping the linear gradient will do. And I might go back and tweak that, but for now it's fine. For now it's fine. Let's just have a quick look, see how that mix is looking. So you see how we've got the darker at the bottom. And because we're not panning that, that should hopefully give us the softer thing there, the softer bottom. Alright, next what we're going to want to do is use an opacity mask. So let's change this to masked. And alright, it's getting kind of messy. I'm just going to pull you guys down here for now to create myself a bit of room. I'll work over here. Okay, so what we're going to try and do now is get like a bit of a break in the waterfall. So I'm just going to duplicate you, because we're going to be using this blue channel. And quick note, I did change the blue channel up a little bit just to make it a bit softer around the edges. So let's go ahead and make this. So what we're going to do is we are going to sort of blend this together, and we're going to do so with a screen. So let's just get you, and this is going to be our opacity mask, and we want the blue into you, and then this we're going to want to take into our opacity mask. Now the reason I'm blending it is because I'm going to want a little more. I want another linear gradient, and I'm going to take that linear gradient, and like before I'm just going to minus it because we want it to be the other way around, which then goes into U, And now, if we press save, what should happen is the material from this is going to blend with this and create an effect. Now again, so the reason I'm using this is just to make sure it all stays at the bottom. So you see how now we've got a couple of breaks towards the bottom. So we can do a couple more things with this. Let's just get ourselves a panner. We seem to be using a lot of panners in this one. And why not say 0.1 and minus 0.4. And save it. Let's see how that looks now over here. So getting a couple of occasional breaks, and that's looking pretty good. So the last thing we're going to need to do here is add a texture coordinates. And we're going to put this in here, and this should increase the size of our gradient. Let's go 1.2. And if we just start previewing this node, what should happen is we should see the effect starting a bit higher up now. And move you over here, let's press save. There we go, and we can see the effect starting to take place a bit higher up now. So this is going to be a difficult one to really sort of get right, and I don't even think I'm that happy with mine. I feel like maybe my gaps are too big, my sizes are too big, but I can sort of tweak and change that as I'm going. It looks nice towards the bottom, but yeah, like I say, you'll probably want to play with that a bit more with yours and so get that right. It's just going to be about trying to find the right mix. But with what I'm going to do with mine, it should be good. It should be fine, because I should be able to sort of hide that in my scene, and it'll be subtle enough, but still visible enough. Cool. And ultimately, I'm happy with all of that. And yeah, that's going to be our waterfall. I'm going to tweak it and change it a bit more in the scene. I'll probably add like a particle effect that shoots a bit of water from the top. So just a couple of like small particles from the top up there. I'm going to hide this a bit more down at the bottom with some smoke. And ultimately, there we go. A very sort of complex and way too shiny looking waterfall. I'm also going to make that slightly less shiny. But yeah, there you go guys. Hope you found that useful. See you in the next part.